Welcome everyone. Today's topic is analyzing deals in seconds. So we're gonna make it very interactive. So friends, please send me in the chat an address that you want to analyze, that you're looking at this deal, that you wanna know how much the property might be worth. So in a nutshell, what is it that you need to know about a property when you need to know the numbers, right? If you're interested in buying the property, getting the property in the contract, there are three things that you need to know. Okay, first of all, you need to make sure that the location, okay, location is good. That is nowhere near like rivers, in a floodplain, highways, cemeteries, because that's going to affect your resale value, appreciation. So that's number one. Number two, you need to know when you look at a property, how much will I be able to sell the property for? Okay, once I make all the repairs, because many of us see the price, right? So somebody's listing the property or somebody offers the property to us for a given amount. But the question is, how much will you be able to sell the property for after you've done all the repairs? So that is the first number that you need to know very accurately. The second thing that you need to know is how much will you spend on the rehab for that property? And third, how much are you gonna offer for the property? Okay, so those are the three numbers that if you don't get right, you can easily lose money in real estate. So I'm gonna show you how we're gonna accurately analyze the deals because let me tell you, what most people do is they query the property, the address in Google, right? They go to Zillow, Realtor, Trulia to try to find out what the ARV is, which is not 100% right. So what you really need to do, you need to look at the comps, properties that sold in the last 6 months within a 1 mile radius from the MLS. Those are true comps. And not only that, but you need to look at the comps to make sure that those properties were rehabbed. So having said that, I haven't received any addresses on your end. What we're gonna do is, I'm gonna log on to ChicagoDealVault to give you the answers for those properties. I mean, for those numbers that I told you in seconds. So yesterday we had a live event of a property that my wife received from a wholesaler, okay? And then it made it to DealVault. So let me just show you what the property is. And then what we're gonna do is we need to find out how much we should offer for this property, okay? And the property address is 2417 South 10th Street. Okay, it's in Broadview. Okay, so the first thing that I told you is that we need to know the location, right? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna find the property, and then we're gonna need to look at the location, where this property is located, and if it's near any highways, cemeteries, busy streets that is going to affect the property value. So if I zoom in, this property is not near highways, cemeteries, busy streets, okay? Those are the factors that may affect your property value. So location-wise, it's okay. So the second thing that you need to do is do the street view, okay? Make sure that the street looks okay. One of the things that we typically look at is vehicles, right? If the vehicles are, you know, like nice vehicles, the properties look okay. So I'm gonna show you where the property is. The property that we're looking at is this one right here. So let me zoom in, is this one. The tree is covering some of the, yeah, this is the property, okay, the subject property. So now, I told you that once location is good, you need to understand the area, Broadview, right? So what is all Broadview all about? So the things that we need to do is understand, depending on your strategy, whether you're gonna flip or rent a property, right? So what we're gonna do is I click on area report. I'm gonna put in Broadview. And then we're gonna pull up everything that we need to know about Broadview. So let's assume that you're gonna do a rental or a flip, either one. We need to be prepared for either one of those. But for now, we're gonna be focusing on the rental. So I'm gonna open up the report. The first thing that I wanna know is the summary. So we give you the geographic location right now, and then the livability score in a nutshell, right? Anything that is over 70% is for livability score is going to be a B area, okay, bread and butter. Anything below 70% is going to be a C area. So we're going to be focusing on B and C areas. D are like the really dangerous areas. A are the most desirable areas. So in this case, employment. So Broadview doesn't have sources of employment. Okay, that's what's killing that area. So now I'm gonna go down to the summary of the area. Okay, so here we're gonna give you the schools, the crime, indicators that are important, but we're gonna summarize them all. So in here, like, let me just point this out. Population growth, it's negative 3.73. So it's fairly, I would say, stable. When it's plus minus, negative 5, plus 5, it's a stable area. But I want to show you the summary. So I'm going to scroll down. So this is a C area, and we recommend a cash flow approach. Schools are just okay. Crime is almost double than higher than the national, okay? Population growth is stable. Vacancy is 6.5%. So it's good. Anything on vacancy over 10%, it's something to consider, right? Anything below 10%, we're okay with it. Now, if you're gonna buy the property, you need to know what properties are selling for in Broadview, okay? So I'm gonna scroll down to the sales market analysis, and we're gonna be focusing on detached properties. So how much should you pay for a single family home? You shouldn't pay more than 143, and you should sell it for 140. If you're gonna do a flip, the properties stay in the market for about 3 months, okay? So that's something that you need to keep in mind for market time. Now, what about if we're gonna rent the property? We scroll down and we just see a 2-bedroom is gonna rent for about 1,000. A 3-bedroom is gonna rent about 1,450, okay? So that's the area in a nutshell. Now let's go back to the property, okay? So the 3 things that we need to know is the ARV, after repair value. How much can you sell the property for after you repair it? What's the estimated rehab? And then how much should you pay for the property? So the first thing that you need to know is how much is this property worth, okay, the ARV. So the way we do this is we run batch processes going to the MLS and updating this range for ARV. But the easiest thing that you need to do is just scroll down. What we're gonna do is, it says comps right here. All we need to do is click on search. When you click on search, we're gonna go to the MLS, find all the comps that sold in the last 6 months within a 1-mile radius, okay? So this is last 6 months, 1-mile radius, and then the square footage is in the ballpark. So the subject property is a 3-bedroom, 1-bath, 1,100 square feet, okay? So what we did is we found 4 properties. Now 3-bedroom, these are 1.5 bath, garage. Now something that we need to keep in mind is right here, the last column, closed price. So this one closed for 140, and the rest are over 200,000. So what does this tell you, friends? This is very critical. When you are looking at the ARV, you need to look for properties that have been rehabbed. So my question to you is, do you think the first property has been rehabbed? If it sold for only 140, I don't think so, and we're gonna verify that. Just look at the pictures. So as you can see, this property has not been rehabbed, okay? So it needs work for sure. Okay, so we're gonna close that. So this is obviously not a comp. So when you are computing your ARV, you've got to uncheck these, okay? So when you uncheck that, we leave all these 3 that are over 200,000. So if I scroll up, we're gonna update the ARV right here. So the ARV is potentially 221,000. but I'm just going to, and then I'm gonna toggle back to the map right here. So the properties are within a 1 mile radius, okay? This is the closest property to the subject property. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to view the details. So I just clicked on the black marker because I want to make sure that these properties are rehab. So if I just look at the pictures, as you can see, yeah, obviously the property has been rehab. Okay, so this is for sure a comp. So I'm gonna go with the assumption that all of these that are over 200,000 are rehabbed, okay? The outlier we need to eliminate. So far, friends, I told you, you have to nail 3 numbers. So far, we got the first one down. The second number is the rehab. How much are you going to spend rehabbing the property, okay? When we give you this estimated rehab number, this is based on the area and the size of the property. So 3-bedroom, 1,100 square feet, we're gonna give you a range. This could go between 18,000 to 30,000. Now, if I click on the disclaimer right here for the information, right? So what the disclaimer says is that the assumption is that we're looking at a BC area, which it is, and that the rehab is a light to medium rehab, okay? So it's not a good rehab. What does it mean? Light to medium, that's too generic. What it means is that you're gonna be touching the kitchen, bathrooms, flooring, painting. That's what it means, okay? You can do, maybe you're gonna paint the cabinets, or you might change the kitchen cabinets. You might need to replace the bathroom vanities, bathtub, and so forth. So that's a light to medium rehab. And then obviously change the light fixtures. However, if you need to touch other systems in the property, the rehab estimate may increase drastically, okay, for sure. So if you're gonna need to do, for instance, rewire all the electric system in the property, then this number needs to be higher. If you need to redo all the plumbing, this number needs to be higher. What about the windows? If you need to replace all the windows, the roof, foundation, those items, the minute you start touching those systems, then you need to account for that, okay? So in this case, just the rehab that we're estimating is for a light to medium. So let's just go with this for now. Now, the next number that we need to address is how much you're gonna be able to offer for the property, okay? So this is going to vary depending on your exit strategy. Whether you have 3 options in real estate, either you flip it, you keep it for a rental, or you wholesale the deal, okay? So based on these numbers, if you were to sell the property for 220, put in about 30,000, and you're gonna do a flip, the most you should pay for this property is 132,000. If you're gonna do a rental, the most you should pay for this property is no more than 150,000. If you're gonna wholesale it, the more you should pay is 121. Okay, does that make sense so far? And I'm gonna tell you how we came up with this number, because you need to understand. I'm just gonna use the flip example. So I'm gonna pull up my calculator. So this is what you need to do, because if you're out in the field, all you need to do is we're gonna take the ARV, we're gonna multiply these times 70%. And I'm gonna quickly explain what that means. 70%, why? Because 20% should be your profit when you do a flip. So what does that mean? If you're gonna sell the property for 220,000, you need to make at least 20% profit. Otherwise, you shouldn't be doing the flip. So 20% of 220 is gonna be 44,000. If you don't make at least 44,000, you should not even do this deal. Does that make sense? So that's 20%. The other 10% is gonna be for carrying and holding expenses. That is why we multiply these times 70%. Now we need to subtract the rehab. So minus, let's say, 25,000 for the rehab. So for a flip, we shouldn't pay more than 129, 130, okay? That's how we came up with that number. Does that make sense, friends? So far, are you with me? So these are the three numbers that you need to nail down when you analyze a property. Now, something that we're making available to all of you, friends, if you don't have time, right, to do the analysis, all you need to do is send us an email. Let's say you are out and about, you need an analysis on a property. Send us a message to support at Chicago DealVault. We have 3 full-time dedicated virtual assistants. All they do all day long is find off-market deals, analyze them, and send them to all our members, okay? If you're a member of Chicago DealVault, if you're not getting these off-market deals, please send us an email with all the areas, as many as you wanna cover. And we're gonna be sending you off-market leads, okay? So not only the analysis, we're also gonna send you the owner's information and the area report. So keep that in mind. We call that Alexa. So you say, Alexa, by sending an email to support at Chicago DealVault, please analyze on whatever property. So this is what I did. You know, I asked Alexa to analyze this property. So they sent us the report, and they came up again with 221 for the ARV rehab, about 30,000, and then the offer price not to offer more than 135,000. Okay, friends. So now the cool thing about this is that the wholesaler wanted 78,000 for the property. He got flooded with offers. Okay, so we quickly ran the numbers. Actually this morning, because I went to the property. I went to check out the property myself. I'm gonna show you the pictures. So when you enter the property, let me see, it's very cluttered with personal belongings. Obviously it's vacant, but it looks fine right there. Let me show you. So that's the living area and then the dining area. Let me open up the next picture. That is the kitchen. Okay, so the kitchen, so you have on the opposite side, you have the sink, you have the stove. So the kitchen cabinets could be, if it's a rental, you can get away by painting them, okay? But you would need to update the countertop and then change appliances. So that's the kitchen. Then this is the basement. So it's unfinished basement. Bathroom, that, yeah, this needs to be updated, right? This is very dated. Now this is one of the bedrooms. So it's called carpet. So carpet needs to go. Windows, they need to be replaced, friends. Okay, the windows are not in good shape. They're not bad, but I think they need to be replaced. So this is another bedroom. And this is the outside of the property. So here, let me see if we can do a close-up. So as you can see, the windows totally need to be replaced, for sure. So the garage also is not in good shape. So the problem, my concern with this property is that now we're gonna need to touch the windows, okay? We're gonna need to touch potentially the roof, okay? Now we need to add the garage, okay? And then I'm not certain about the electric and plumbing systems, okay? And also the mechanicals, the HVAC. So my thinking is that it's not going to be 30,000, friends. This is gonna be way more than that. So let's run the numbers. Now that you guys are a pro, let's go back to the analysis. I'm gonna pull up my calculator and then show you the numbers. First of all, we need to rework the rehab based on the pictures. So I'm gonna start with the big ticket items. The garage, let's assume that we need to redo the garage. The garage is gonna be 17,000, okay, for a 2-car garage. Now the roof is gonna be about 5,000, okay? Now the windows, there are 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. They're like between around 10 windows, 10, 12 windows. Multiply that by 375. That's the window with the installation. So it's about let's say 5,000 plus 5,000 for windows, okay? So far, we're at 27,000, friends. That includes roof, garage, windows. Now I'm gonna add mechanicals, okay? So furnace, water heater, condenser, so that it has all central air. So we're gonna add about, for the water heater, it's gonna be maybe 1,200 with installation. Now 1,200, now the condenser is gonna be about 2,000, so that's 32, plus the furnace, about 1,500. So that's another 5,000 for mechanicals, okay? Now we're at 32,000, friends. We have not touched kitchen, bathroom, flooring, paint, light fixtures, okay? So for that, we're gonna count about 25,000 plus 25,000, okay? So far, friends, we are at 57,000 just for the rehab. And we don't know if we're gonna need to touch the electrical system, okay, or the plumbing system, okay? So if we were to touch those systems, that could add up another 10,000, okay? I'm gonna add, just to be on the safe side, another 10,000. So easily, friends, we are at 70,000, okay, on this property, 70,000. So now let's rework the formula to see what's the most we should offer for a flip. So the ARV is 221, I'm gonna make it 220, times 70, 154 minus 70,000. So the most we should pay for this property is $84,000, friends. Okay, 84,000. Let me show you. I got an email from the wholesaler like maybe 15 minutes ago. So yeah, 5:45. So he sent me a document. Let me show you the document. So he wants to wholesale this property for, let me pull it up, 88,000, okay? So our numbers say that we shouldn't pay more than 84,000. Hopefully this comes up. View document. And you know, friends, when we had the live event yesterday, obviously we have not seen the property from the inside. So we were thinking if we can get this property for 100,000 would be an awesome deal. But guess what? I think this requires a lot of work, okay? Especially the garage, right? That's something that is sort of throwing the numbers because a garage is 17,000. So while this comes up, oh, I think it's coming up. Dot Lupis. Okay, so here it is. So purchase price, 88,000, friends, right here. Okay, 88,000. There's a non-refundable 2,500. And then, you know, the ASIs, right? So this is what the next step, friends. We're gonna have 2 GCs go out to the property first thing in the morning, okay? Because based on our experience, based on our numbers, I estimate 70,000 for the rehab, but I'm not a GC, right? By any means. So I'm going to wait. I'm not gonna sign this agreement yet until I hear back from the 2 GCs. I need to know what the rehab is gonna be, okay? So if the rehab is gonna be less or more, based on that, I'm gonna renegotiate this number. But based on my original assumption, we should not pay more than $84,000 for this property. Even, right, 4,000, that's for a flip, friends, keep in mind. But we wouldn't do a flip. Why? Because Broadview is a strong rental market, okay? Also, if you think about it, let me show you. If we could easily do a flip, because look at these comps, look at the listing market time, 7 days. So these properties sold in 7 days. These sold in 3 weeks. So it's a hot market for flips. We could sell this property like very quickly. You see that? So we have the option for a flip. So we shouldn't pay more, based on my assumptions right now, more than 84,000. But I'm gonna wait till tomorrow till I get the estimates from the GCs. Okay. Now, if we were doing a buy and hold, which if we were to pursue this deal, the best thing to do is buy and hold for sure. So the formula is a little bit different for a buy and hold. So the formula is 220 times 80%, okay? So that is 176,000. I'm gonna knock off the rehab minus the rehab, 70,000. So if we were to do a buy and hold, the most we should pay for this property is 106,000, which that'll be the approach, right, to do this for this property. So friends, this is a great deal. Any way you look at it, this is a home run deal. But I'm just gonna wait, and if the rehab comes over 70,000, or even if it's 70,000, I will try to renegotiate these, okay? I wanna get it for maybe low 80s, but it's just in itself, it's a great property, okay? And then let me show you the analysis that Alexa did for us. So yesterday, my wife said, please check this out ASAP. So I sent a message to Alexa at almost 4 o'clock. And then by 4:15, I got the response from Alexa, which is the analysis on the same property, okay? So Alexa said, pay no more than 135. But obviously the rehab is estimated to be 30,000, which is not gonna be 30,000. But we already analyzed the flip analysis. Let's look at the rental. The rent for this property is gonna be about $1,650, okay? And now if we take into account the taxes, the insurance, the management, maintenance, we're gonna be cash flowing about $350, assuming we were to pay 135,000, but it's not gonna be the case. So the cash flow is going to be no less than $400 on this property, okay? And these are the comps that actually we were looking at. And then the comps are side by side, okay? Just to make sure that we're comparing apples with apples. Brick, 3-bedroom homes in Broadview, okay? So this is the analysis that you all are gonna get when you send a message to Alexa or our email, support@ChicagoDealVault, okay, friends? It's that powerful, right? Even if you are not on the computer, you need an analysis ASAP, send Alexa an email, okay? And we'll get this to you ASAP, because it's timing. It's all about timing, right? Time is of essence when it comes to these type of deals. So friends, let's just recap. When you analyze deals, number one, location, 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 right? Make sure that it's not in a floodplain area. Make sure that it's not near highways, cemeteries, something that is gonna affect the appreciation and marketability of the property. Now, the 3 numbers that you need to nail accurately, because if you don't, you're gonna lose money. One is the ARV, the other one is the rehab, and finally, how much you're gonna be offering for the property. So this is where ChicagoDealVault comes into the picture, right? So we're gonna pretty much do all the work for you. All you need is give us an address and that's it, okay? So friends, are there any questions on the line? Okay, so Jerry, they wanna know the financing portion. Okay, so let me go back to the PDF. So the financing works as follows. Financing. Okay, so down payment, the assumption is you're gonna put down 10 to 15%. Total finance, so the Harmony lender is gonna finance 90% plus 100% of the rehab, okay? They're gonna charge you about 2 points. So it's gonna be about 2,000. The mortgage payment is gonna be very low on that loan amount. About principal interest is gonna be 580, okay? So when we work with Harmony lenders, they're gonna charge you about 2 points upfront. Interest rate is gonna be about 12%, and it's gonna be a 4-month term, and it's interest only what you pay, okay? This is while you do the rehab. Once you do the rehab and rent the property, then you can refinance, okay? To refinance, they're gonna be looking at, let me show you for the refinance. If the property appraises at 220, the bank will want you to have at least 2225 equity on the property. So I'm gonna multiply this by 75. So you should not spend more than 165 on the whole project, purchase and rehab. If you keep the numbers below 165, that's gonna be awesome because you're gonna have very little money on the deal. So let's just run the numbers. So let's assume we buy it for 88 minus 70,000 for the rehab. So that gives us 7,000 of wiggle room, okay? Which means that if we put in 10% on the deal for the purchase, so about 10% is gonna be like 8,000, and we stick to the 70,000 rehab, when we refinance, guess what? Our 8,000 down payment or 10% skin on the game, we're gonna be able to get that money back when we do the refi. So, which means that you're gonna have zero money stuck in the deal. If we buy this for 88, spend no more than 70,000 on the deal and refi this at 220, appraising at 220 and keeping 25% equity on the deal. So 25% of 220 is going to be 55,000, friends. So we could have zero money on the deal and have the tenant pay for the entire property, will cash flow 400 and still increase our net worth by 55,000 on this deal. I mean, this is called a home run deal, friends, okay? But I'm gonna wait till tomorrow, till I hear back from our GCs. I need 2 estimates just to make sure, right? Because this is a little bit over the comfort zone, right? We like to do rehabs under 40,000. We like to keep it between 25 to 35. So those are technically true light to medium rehabs. This is a little bit over our comfort zone, right? Anything that is over 50,000, we're not so comfortable. But what's throwing this off is the garage, right? So that is why I need to know if we can repair the garage or we need to do a new garage. That is why I'm just being very conservative on the numbers. But friends, I'll let you know what happens tomorrow, okay? Are there any other questions on the line? Okay, another question is, do you analyze multifamily? So we can analyze up to 4 units, 2 to 4 units. And Katrina, please make sure that you come next Tuesday. We're gonna have Jared. He's a big guy in the south for multi-unit. Okay, that's next Tuesday. Are there any other questions on the line? Okay, friends, so I just want to recap. If there are no further questions on the line, when you have a property that you have no clue how to analyze, send us an email, please, with the address. We'll do that for you. But if you're on your computer, just do a power search, and then we're going to spit out all the numbers for you. Okay, so you don't need to think, work, create, do nothing. The most you're going to be able to do is just click on search for the comps. Just to pull up the latest searches, the latest comps. That summarizes, friends, how you should be able to analyze deals in seconds. Friends, let me tell you this. If you're spending more than 2 minutes analyzing a property, you're doing something very wrong, okay? It shouldn't take that long.